Seconds Out, Ayman Khan here with Johnny Nelson. Johnny, I would do the normal introductions, but we've got a man to the left of you right there who's got the spotlight on him, who's looking brilliant and looking to perform this Sunday night. Talk to me about that man.
He's the future. I've seen talent that's come through from beginning to the end, and I tell you now, when you look at the likes of Lennox Lewis, Prince Naseem Hamed, Nigel Benn, fighters that end up becoming world champions, and how they dealt with domestic rivals in the beginning of their career, then you see the path, the blueprints there. Now you've got to look at Adam and think to yourself, how is he dealing with domestic opposition? And Sunday, again, will be part of that story. So it's not a fight that you probably think for a fighter of his professional experience might be a bit of a struggle. If he's blitzing through these guys and getting the job done and dominating the fights, it tells you potentially how good this kid could be on a world scale. And I think this is another one of those fights. Very professional mentally, very professional how he prepares for a fight, very professional how he approaches the fight, and very, very professional how he executes a fight. So it's not what I say, it's what you see. And a lot of our game is about what people say about fighters behind the scenes. And I could say you're a brilliant fighter and you take out enough, man. And if I get 20 people saying it, people will believe it. And that's how you just build up BS. But you just got to go on what you actually see. You've got to go on what you've seen from this young man for yourself. Your eyes aren't lying. Not what people like I say or people behind the scenes say. Just look for yourself. And so that analogy, what I've given you in regards to how he deals with domestic level, well, then you can compare it to other former world champions from our country that have gone through the system, gone through the path, and got there in the end.
Johnny, so far from what you've seen from your own eyes, being a former pro fighter yourself as well, are there any gaps in his game that you've seen so far that you want to see him improve on?
Now, I think there's so much more room for improvement. But even though there's so much more room for improvement, he's still doing a good job on every level. And sometimes he might be a little too eager. But realistically, right now he's punch perfect. And so each fight he's going to get critiqued, he's going to get watched, he's going to be assessed. Potential opponents are going to try and watch and figure him out. And the responsibility of being the one hunted is being able to deal with every hunter you come across that's been preparing you for a long, long time. Now he's in a position where a lot of fighters are looking at him thinking, that's how you beat him. This is how you beat him. And if he can deal with those people with less notice than they have, it shows the mental capacity of the fighter that he's got.
With that said, then he faces Rylan Charlton Sunday evening. Rylan we know quite a lot about. We've seen him cause problems like Sir Florian Mark, who also come up a cropper against Dylan Chima in the tournament. What problems could Charlton pose to Adam this Sunday?
I've seen Charlton. He's a tough cookie, a fighter with pride. A fighter that'll go in there and give it his all. He's not going to come to make up the numbers. And again, this is his chance to right the wrongs of his losses in the past. If he beats him, then you've got to look at him differently. He's a fighter, and he's a fighter where you've got to think, he's got dreams and ambitions. So if he's got dreams and ambitions, why should it stop there? So of course he's going to want to make a difference. He can punch. He's a handful. He's confident. So he's coming into tonight thinking, right, I need this fight. I need to get this win.
Johnny, talk me through the rest of the card. Some good fights there. Zach Shelley's featuring Lerone Richards, Mikel Lawal. Talk me through it.
Fight tonight. I think Lerone Richards and Shelley. I think that's going to be fight tonight. I think these two fighters, you've got a skillster in Lerone Richards. We've still not seen the full potential of. We probably might not. In regards to Zach Shelley, Zach is strong, hungry, aggressive. He's ambitious. He's jacked in his job because this is his living now. So you've got two fighters that really believe they can win over a 10-rounder. So again, this is one of those fights where I think it's fight of the night. Of course, you've got Mikel Lawal. He's fighting for my old title, the British Cruiserweight title. His opponent, stepping in 1 week's notice. But I was just talking to him earlier. Yes, and they boxed each other before. Had him down the first round, has a power over him. But he's going to understand. I've seen so many fighters slip up with a standing opponent. So I said, give him respect, show him respect, fight him with respect, fight him like a champion. Don't go in there to show off and just think, I'm going to show you how good I am. Get rid of him. Don't give a man a chance that hasn't got one. That's what he's got to do Sunday. Otherwise, he's gonna go down the same path and the same mistake other fighters have done. And he understands that. And I hope those words might have helped him. Those words might have inspired him to make sure he does the right thing. But again, you know what? I think it's a great chance for him to make people start talking about him in conversation. Collect that Lonsdale belt, and then establish yourself as a domestic top dog. And then you can move on Commonwealth, European, then start talking world.
From a Lerone Richards perspective, when you see him as a former pro, is it disappointing that Lerone finds himself struggling promotionally because he has all the skills in the world? Maybe it's proven that maybe in boxing right now, skills don't just pay the bills, you have to be able to talk as well.
So boxing now, it's not just about being a good boxer. You've got to be the whole package. You've got to have character. You've got to have an edge about you. You've got to be something about you. And unless you're a purist and you love the sweet science, you're not going to appreciate what Lerone does. Lerone's a good, clever fighter. And I think Zach Shelley's the right opponent to bring that little bit of something out of him. Because Lerone cannot sit back and think this is an easy peasy job. He'll make a job easy, given him the opportunity. But Zach won't make this job easy for him, which I think why this is going to be a great fight.
Move away from this, big announcement made last night, that being that Chris Eubank Jr. takes on Liam Smith, a good fight in the offing on Sky Sports Box Office.
Yeah, good fight, January 21st. I think Chris Eubank, he's probably the ring fresher out of the two, even though he's been in some fights. I think Liam is probably definitely more has more experience than Chris. So you've got experience against freshness of Eubank. How do I see it going? That's a hard pick. It's a hard pick because I can see why both fighters could win. Liam's not the fighter he was, but he still has enough fight in him to deal with most fighters out there. They both still ambitions to be a world champion. They still want to be top dog. So it's just a case of who wants it the most and who has the right tactics on the night.
Do you feel the pressure is still on Chris Eubank Jr.'s shoulders, considering if the Ben fight had happened, regardless of the things outside of it, he was saying that if he didn't win, he was done. Is that the same feeling going into this one? If he doesn't beat Liam Smith, maybe he's done here?
He's not said that. I think he said that because he couldn't justify losing to Ben. So therefore, that's why he said that. So I don't think a loss on his career he'd say I'm done. He just said I cannot lose to him because if I lose to him, I am out of here. That's why he actually said it.
Moving away from that, Natasha Jonas, she's got options on the table. One option that's been presented is a fight with Terry Harper, but Tasha Jonas doesn't seem to want that fight. What do you think is the best option maybe for Tasha?
Well, I hear Clarissa's talking about stepping down and getting involved in that mix. I'm quite sure I understand why Clarissa would do that, because I think there's more love for her over here, or for women's boxing over here, than there is in the States. And it's a fight she thinks, you know what, I could win that. You know, she's seen how it operates. She's seen how the promotions work. So Natasha has put herself in a great position where, when she's been written off, she's come back and she's reminded everybody why she was a sweetheart at the 2012 Olympics. You know, and then people just pulled the rug from underneath her when she lost, thinking that's it, she's shot. But she remember, she's always got that boxing ability. She's always got that boxing brain.
Moving away from that, then also this weekend we see the return of Dylan White, who was last out in a losing effort against Tyson Fury. Good to see Dylan White back in the heavyweight mix.
Yes, it is. It is. You need characters in the fight game, and Dylan is one of those fighters, and he's going to give it heart and soul in regards to when he gets in there. I expect Dylan to get the win. Dylan is still a force to be reckoned with and respected. I'm hearing that if he wins, potentially it could be him against Anthony Joshua next. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know how true it is or not. If it is the case, again, as a boxing fan, great fight.
John, is that the right fight for you for those two, do you think?
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah. I do think that. I think again, it's over this side of the world. It sells. It puts bums on seats. It creates that interest. And both fighters, they're different men now. They've had different experiences. So yeah, I'd like to see that.
The other side of the heavyweight coin is Tyson Fury, who takes on Derek Chisora in a third fight. A lot of conversation about that fight there. Johnny, where do you stand on it?
I don't see what's changed, and it sounds like I'm disrespecting Derek. I'm not. I'm just going by fact. The fact is, Tyson Fury's proved everything about his career. Tyson Fury's beaten him twice already. Clearly. what's changed? Both of them got a fight, and both fighters have gotten older, gone through different, more experiences. So I'm quite sure they might be a little slower. This might be the fight that's made them train a little harder. But what's actually changed? Why would you expect anything else? And why would you question if Tyson Fury can do it again? Because he's done everything asked of him. He's ticked every box. And yeah, it's unfair on Tyson Fury when you say he should be boxing X, Y, Z. He's boxed who he's had to box and beat him. So until he gets beaten, until he gets turned over, you got to just put him up there as top dog.
The other side of the conversation on that point is whether the pay-per-view price point between $26.95. The same discussion will happen with Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Smith. In your eyes, are those two fights pay-per-view? Tyson Fury and Liam Smith.
Well, the numbers will tell you if they pay for you. There's intrigue there with. It sounds like I'm saying it because one's on one channel, one's on the other. There's intrigue there between Smith and Eubank because it's never happened before. The intrigue's there because it's a fight that you think, if you're going to watch it, you're going to watch it. You want to pay to watch it, you're going to pay to watch it. Tyson Fury and Derek Chisora, because it's happened twice already, it's just, I think the numbers will tell the answer. The numbers, the viewing numbers will answer that question for you.
Tyson said that a fight with Anthony Joshua isn't a glamour fight for him, which I thought was quite an interesting comment there. I know he's flip-flopped generally about that fight, but the latest statement from Tyson is that isn't a glamour fight. That's an interesting comment there, Johnny.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, it is. Tyson Fury says a lot of things interesting.
Johnny finally. Adam Smith is absent quite recently. Wally Down said that Sky put a statement out saying he's unwell at the moment and looking forward to his return. Can you tell us what the situation is with Adam at the moment, Johnny?
I just turned up here. I think as far as Adam's concerned, until Adam gives a statement himself, it's not my business, your business, or anybody else's business. And I hope he gets well soon.
Final word then. Johnny, why should people tune in on Sunday night?
Tune in on Sunday night, or late evening, because I think you're going to get excitement, intrigue. We're going to see a new British Cruiserweight champion. We're going to see potential fight of the night with Zach Chelly and Laurel Richards. We're going to see the rise of Adam Azim. I think that's going to be a wicked fight.
Johnny, pleasure speaking to you. Thanks for speaking to Seconds Out.